Welcome back to AFT Dice Season 10. It is round 9, Sunday, the 31st of August, 2025. Let's get stuck into it. It is Port Adelaide and Essendon at Adelaide Oval. Okay, so we got Essendon in 5th spot, Port Adelaide in 11th. And we've got Essendon. They've kicked 5 goals, 6 to Port Adelaide, 2 goals, 6. And Essendon are in front by 3 goals. 36 to 18. Second quarter underway. Match of the round 9 is Brisbane versus Adelaide at the Gabba. Okay, Essendon at the second quarter have kicked 6 goals, 6 to Port Adelaide, 1-6. And Essendon are 48 points up at half time, 78 to 30. Third quarter underway in this match. First match of the round 9. Third quarter siren has gone, and Port Adelaide have kicked 5 goals, 2 to Essendon, 2 goals, 6. Port Adelaide are 34 points down, 62 to 96. Last quarter underway. Who is going to win? Siren has gone and Essendon have won by 38 points. Final scores, Essendon 16-24, 120 to Port Adelaide 11-16, 82. All right, let's get stuck into the second game. It is GWS Giants versus Richmond at Giant Stadium. First quarter underway. First quarter has completed, and we've got Richmond. They've kicked 5 goals, 4 to the Giants, 3 goals, 4. So Richmond are up by 2 goals at quarter time. Second quarter underway. Second quarter has completed. Giants have kicked 5 goals, 1 to Richmond, 4-6. And it is Richmond at half time by 11 points, 64 to 53. Third quarter underway. Richmond bottom. Are they going to win their third game of the season? The Giants have kicked 3 goals, 3 to Richmond, 5 goals, 4. And the Tigers are 24 points up, 98 to 74. Last quarter has started. Essendon beating Port Adelaide are in second spot, just in front of Melbourne and Brisbane and Collingwood. Final siren's gone, and Richmond have won by 29 points. They are off the bottom of the ladder. So it was 18th versus 17th. So Richmond beat the Giants. So the Giants are on the bottom of the ladder at the moment. So the final score is Richmond 20-18, 138 to the Giants 16-13, 109. All right, let's get stuck into the third game for round 9. It is Hawthorn versus West Coast Eagles. West Coast, they are sitting 6. Hawthorn in 11th. First quarter has completed, and Hawthorn have kicked 6 goals, 1 to West Coast, 1-5-11. So it's 26 points the difference Hawthorn's way. First quarters, when a team gets high score in the first quarter, they seem to run on. Let's see if Hawthorn can do that. The siren's gone for the second quarter, half time, and Hawthorn have kicked 2 goals, 1 to Richmond, 5 goals, 6. West Coast, 5 goals, 6. So that puts halftime margin down to 3 points. So Hawthorn are 3 points up, 50 to 47. They were 26 points up, Hawthorn, but that margin has decreased. Third quarter has completed after half time. West Coast, they've kicked 6 goals, 5. Hawthorn 1-1. So since quarter time, West Coast Eagles have kicked 11 goals to 3. Final score, final quarters, final siren has completed. Siren has gone. West Coast have beaten the Hawks by 36 points. They kicked 3 goals, 4 in the last quarter to Hawthorn 2-5. Wow, Hawthorn, they were 26 points up, and after quarter time, they've kicked 5 goals to West Coast 14. So final score, Hawthorn 11-8, 74 to West Coast 15-20, 1-10. So they're sitting third on the ladder now, West Coast. Fourth game, Carlton versus Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. First quarter's completed, and we've got Melbourne. They've kicked 4 goals, 3 to Carlton 2-3. Second quarter underway in this match. We've got Carlton 14th, Melbourne in 4th. Melbourne win. They are second. Melbourne, they've kicked 5 goals, 3 to Carlton, 1-1 in that second quarter. Half time, Carlton are down by 38 points, 22 to 60. Third quarter underway. Third quarter siren has gone. Melbourne have kicked 5 goals, 6 to Carlton, 3-1. And at three-quarter time, Carlton are down by 55 points. Final score, final quarters has completed, and Melbourne have won by 58 points. They kicked 3 goals, 3 to Carlton, 2-6. Melbourne final score 17-15, 117 to Carlton, 8-11, 59. All right, let's go to the next game. It is Gold Coast versus North Melbourne at Metricon Stadium. We've got Gold Coast in 9th, North Melbourne in 13th. Melbourne just beat Carlton, so Carlton are in 14th, Melbourne in 2nd. Quarter time, Gold Coast, North Melbourne. Gold Coast have kicked 4 goals, 3 to North Melbourne 5-3. So North Melbourne are up by 6 points, 33 to 27. Second quarter underway in this match. And the Gold Coast Suns have kicked 5 goals, 6 in that second quarter to North Melbourne 3-4. And at half time, Gold Coast are up by 8 points, 63 to 55. Third quarter has started. Third quarter siren's gone, and Gold Coast, they've kicked 6 goals, 4 to North Melbourne, 1-6. And Gold Coast, they've separated the margin, and North Melbourne are down by 36 points, 67 to 103 going into the last quarter. Last quarter. Siren's gone. Gold Coast have won by 29 points. They kicked 4 goals, 3 to North Melbourne, 5-4. And that puts Gold Coast in 5th spot at the moment. All right, let's get stuck into the next game. It is Collingwood versus Western Bulldogs at the MCG. Collingwood are in the 8th. Bulldogs are just outside the 8th in 10th. Bulldogs have kicked 6 goals, 3 to Collingwood, 5-2. 7 points the difference to the Bulldogs. Second quarter underway. Siren's gone for half time, and the Bulldogs have kicked 3 goals forward. Collingwood 2-2. And at half time, Western Bulldogs are in front by 15 points. Let's go to the second half of this game. Collingwood need to win. If they don't, Bulldogs will take their spot. Third quarter has completed, and Collingwood have kicked 3-2 to the Western Bulldogs, 2-1. And it is 8 points the difference at three-quarter time. Collingwood 66 to Bulldogs 74. Can the Magpies get it done, or will the Western Bulldogs win? Final siren's gone, and the Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 6 goals, 3 in that last quarter to Collingwood 1-1. And in the end, Western Bulldogs have won by 40 points. Western Bulldogs final score 17-11, 113 to Collingwood 11-7, 73. So that puts Bulldogs in the 8. Collingwood are just scraping in. All right, let's go to the next game. It is Geelong versus St Kilda down at GMHBA Stadium. Any of these two teams win, they will be in the 8. So Geelong first quarter 5-2 to St Kilda 2-3. He's 17 points the difference to the Cats. Second quarter underway in this match. Both teams 9th and 10th. The Cats have kicked 5 goals, 5 to St Kilda 3-6. Half time, we've got St Kilda down by 28 points, 39-67. Third quarter started. Siren has gone for the third quarter, and the Cats have kicked 3 goals, 2 to St Kilda 1-5. And it looks like that the Cats are going to be in the top 8 after round 9. Final siren's gone, and Geelong have won by 47 points. Final scores: Geelong 16-15, 111 to St Kilda 8-16, 64. All right, let's get stuck into the next game. It is Sydney versus Fremantle at the SCG for round 9. Second last game of the round. It's 15th versus 17th. Geelong have pushed up to 5th, St Kilda down to 10th, which pushes Collingwood outside the 8. And the first quarter has completed for Sydney versus Fremantle, and Sydney have kicked 4 goals, 1 to Fremantle 4-4. So Fremantle are up by 3 points. Second quarter has started. Siren has gone for half time, and Fremantle have kicked 3 goals, 3 to Sydney 1-6. And at half time, Fremantle are up by 12 points, 49-37. Third quarter underway in this match. Third quarter, Siren has gone, and Sydney have kicked 3 goals, 5 to Fremantle 2-3. And it is 4 points the difference at three-quarter time. Let's go to the last quarter to see who will get over the line in this match. Fremantle, will it be Fremantle or will it be Sydney? Sydney have won this match by 9 points. They kicked 6-5 to Fremantle 4-4 in that last quarter for Sydney to get over the line. Final score: Sydney 14-17, 101 to Fremantle 13-14, 92. All right, so that puts Sydney off pretty much second last on the ladder to 14th, and that pushes Fremantle down to 16th. All right, let's go to the match of the round. It's Brisbane Lions versus Adelaide Crows at the Gabba for round 9, Sunday the 31st of August 2025. And the first quarter's completed, and Brisbane have kicked 5 goals, 2 to Adelaide 4-6. Now, Brisbane's the only team that when they're away, they have not lost. They've won 4 games and lost none. But at home, they've won one and lost three. So can the Lions get over the line at home? Brisbane, they've kicked 4 goals, three to Adelaide, 2-1 in that second quarter. And Brisbane are up by 16 points, 59 to 43. Second half is underway in this match. Brisbane versus Adelaide at the Gabba. And Brisbane have kicked 4 goals, one to Adelaide 2-5. And it is 24 points the difference to the Lions, 84 to 60. Now that might push Adelaide off the top of the ladder. And in the end, Brisbane have won by 28 points. They kicked 5 goals, six to Adelaide, 5-2 in that last quarter. So Brisbane won it by 4 points. Brisbane final score 18-12, 120 to Adelaide, 13-14, 92. So that pushes Adelaide in second spot, Brisbane in third, and that puts Melbourne on top of the ladder with a healthy percentage, second best percentage in the competition at the moment. So the top four, we've got Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, Essendon, and then the remaining 4 teams in the 8 are West Coast Eagles, Geelong, Gold Coast, and the Western Bulldogs. And then we've got Giants down the bottom of the ladder on 2 wins, the only team on 2 wins. So that concludes round 9. So we've got the Suns, the number 1 offense team, the D's, the number 1 defense team, and Eagles, they've got the biggest winning streak of 3. So they feature in match of the round for round 10. So it's the Eagles versus Melbourne at Optus Stadium. So that is going to be a cracking game. And then we've got the Q clash for round 10. So the Brisbane Lions versus Gold Coast Suns at the Gabba. So that is going to be an absolute rip snorter, that one. So that's it for round 9, Sunday the 31st of August, 2025. We'll see you next time.